The Mighty Whites podcast is recorded at the Medicine Room Studios. For more information, visit medicineroomstudios.com.
Hi and welcome to episode 18 of the Mighty Whites podcast. As usual, I'm Jack. I'm joined by Connie.
Now then.
And live via satellite, we've got from Portland, KC.
Morning.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's morning there. Yeah, I was just about to laugh at you, but yeah, we'll let it go.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Awkward bastard. Well, we'll get straight into yesterday's game with its awkward bastard kickoff time, which is why I stumbled on yesterday's. I keep forgetting that 4:30 on the Sunday is a stupid time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'll let it go when it's Premier League, but in Championship, that's a stupid time for a kickoff.
We're preparing for when we go up as fucking champions and are on TV every Sunday.
BT Sport will have a field day with Leeds United when we get back up.
So it was a bit of a mental game, really, so we'll probably take it in roughly chronological order, but I'll get it out of the way. 2-2 draw, Bristol City. Me and Connie both had 1-1, so we get 2 points. Casey had a 2-0 win, so he doesn't.
I'm just happy to have some points on board again, to be honest. I've been dire at this recently.
Yeah, well, you two are now back level. You two are back level now, so...
I'm not dead yet.
So, Casey, you actually managed to get hold of a decent stream, didn't you, for this?
Yeah, it was quite... I was just looking around because over here you tend to get lots of the smaller games on ESPN3, which is an on-demand service. It's a bit of a pain. So, yeah, kind of had a look around and found a service and got a nice HD stream of it, which is, just in time for the first 15 minutes of awful defending.
Yeah. Nice it was in HD, unlike on LUTV where you just have to watch it in D.
Hey, sometimes I remember LUTV in 2009. People would have killed for D.
But yeah, as you alluded to, another really shit first half. They looked we were okay for about 4 minutes up until Dallas had that effort. But played like a scared team, and then we'll start with first goal. I mean, they were both shit because they were both from long throws, but that first goal, and particularly Wiedwald.
It just seems to be a thing, doesn't it? It was a bit like watching Silvestri, in that it just came out and it was in no man's land. Now, I didn't see all game. I had things going on, but the highlights when I saw it, it came with such purpose at start, though, didn't it? And then it was just a case of shit. And I don't even know how we lost flight of it at all. It was just...
It was just shite.
Yeah.
I just remember watching that and seeing him coming flying out, and I've never been a fan of goalkeepers coming out to try and win the ball from a long throw-in. I think with the way they tend to come in, they're always better off waiting for the second ball, because the first touch on is going to be a header. It's probably not going to be an attacking header. And
even if it is, there's going to be no power on it, because throw-ins, unless Rory Delap's done it tends to be quite loopy.
Quite tame, aren't they? Yeah. They're coming looping over the, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to go, generally it's going to go back up in the air. So you're better off going for the second ball. And at this point, if you've got a long throw-in taker in your team, you'll spend a chunk of training practicing, boxing the keeper in, trying to get all the players into a small area so it's hard to get to. So he's just better off staying on his line or a couple of yards out and then trying to get to the second ball.
Especially when they know that they've got a threat in there like Aidan Flint and all. You just stay put, like you say. If you know you've got long throws coming in and you've got a threat like Flint in box, and is it Jeju? Have I pronounced that right?
Florian Jeju, yeah. I think
Jeju,
it is.
Yeah. He's a pretty big lad and all, so they've got plenty of height in there.
They've got a few,
like
Bailey Wright's a pretty big lad as well.
Yeah, you just stay.
It's kind of weird how the best example of what he's saying is the second goal.
Yeah.
Throw-in went up, the header went straight up in the air. This time Wiedwald didn't come. But unfortunately, every defender stood there and let it drop.
Yep.
He's 7 yards from goal and he gets a low-driven volley on it. Yep. So they've let it drop all the way to the floor. If we take out the Wiedwald thing for the minute, because, yes, it was abysmal goalkeeping, we all know it, we've all had a bitch about it, rightly so. But when that ball, after he's missed it, falls to Jeju's feet, he takes 3 touches in the middle of the 18-yard box, 10 yards from goal.
That and Janssen should have been on him. It was Janssen that should have shut him down. It would have nailed this man, and all he wanted to do, but looks for it, would put his hands behind his back and just try not to handball it. Fucking throw yourself in front of it. It doesn't matter where it is, just launch yourself at it. It doesn't matter, does it? You know, at the end of the day, we're going to score anyway. If it hits his hand and it gets a bit, and they give a penalty for it, chance you take, isn't it? But yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, it beggars belief when you see a player get that much time in the middle of a penalty area when there is roughly 20 of the 22 players on the field in that 18-yard box. Just like you say, it just didn't seem to be anyone charging out. If I remember rightly, it was either O'Kane or Forshaw's on the line. But again, you just think at that point, just charge at him, put him under some pressure. But we did nothing.
Yeah, for both goals, there was no pressure whatsoever. The other thing, it got noticed. It actually was the guy in front of me at the ground who noticed it. On corners, for no reason, when the player's marking the keeper, there is always a defender comes in to mark that man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not yesterday, there wasn't.
Right.
There was just Bobby Reid stood in front of Eidvald, no defender there helping him.
Bloody hell,
On every corner. It was. I've also got another theory on why he's so bad at dealing with crossing. I think he's getting terrible training on it, based off. It's Marcus Abad, isn't it, our goalkeeping coach?
Yeah.
Based off him in the warm up over the last 3 games, he hits these crosses in to warm him up before a game. And I imagine it's the same in training. He can't cross a ball to save his bastard life. He had one run before game because I got there quite early. I was in there about 40 minutes before kickoff, so I saw it warm up.
Yeah.
He put 4 in a row over the crossbar when warming up the keeper.
Jesus.
It's bad. It's bad when you're looking at someone and going, "Can we get Hadi Sacco in to do this?"
At least Hadi a try. God bless him.
He won't come up that much. I actually thought Sacco did really well when he came on.
The bits I saw, the very limited bits that I've seen, he didn't do it wrong.
No, he didn't try out too fancy, but with his pace and he hugged the touchline, he stretched their defence a bit. Yeah. And he really did make a difference to where we played.
I saw him bring a couple of decent balls down as well that were hit, quite...
Forshaw hit a couple of really lovely crossfield balls to him.
Yeah, and he brought them down. Normally they're the sort of ones where you see Sacco, it goes under his foot or bounces over him, but yeah, he looked good.
There was a moment, though, we were breaking forward from the midfield, and I believe it was Forshaw had it. It was either Forshaw or Hernandez, and they played the pass, and I think he got intercepted, and the commentator over here just went, and the obvious option out there was Sacco on the right, and I just went, well, I don't know. That's a look, and maybe I could pass it somewhere else. He's in 10 yards of space. Who else is open? Anybody? No?
That's fine. Pontus is open back there, just halfway in our own yard.
It's like
keep it safe.
He's saying it's like Rachel when they're playing 3-on-3 American football at Thanksgiving.
Go long.
Yeah, just go long.
Just keep going long. Stay long.
Well, Widley, speaking of not playing the ball to the right, the second half... lump the first 20 minutes of the second half in with the first half because it was more of the same. But then the crowd, it was a very strange atmosphere, the way that it happened. But by the end, it was fucking brilliant. It started out a bit of gallows humour, basically. Like, I don't know how well it came through on TV, but there was
it was great. You could hear it straight from the start of the second half.
There was a massive...
It was fantastic.
Leeds are going up and we're going up as fucking champions and it was piss taking, but there was an element of this that I didn't like. I didn't like the ironic cheering every time Wiedwald caught a ball.
No.
But the one that annoyed me more was the stuff at Pennington. Now Pennington had an awful first half. Like he sliced ball straight out of play when trying to play a long ball upfield. No exaggeration, 6 or 7 times. Yeah. He had an absolute stinker. But then, whenever he cleared a ball, they went, "Hey!" I was just like, shut up.
Can I say on that note, though, that happened a few times in the first half. Players just getting their head up, go to hoof it like it happened to Anita a couple of times. I think Janssen as well. Just the amount of times looked up just to play a long ball, it just went straight out for a throw-in. But I'll tell you something that really annoyed me that Janssen did in the first half. I think it was Anita played it back to Wiedwald. And instantly you're looking for, your centre-back to push out a bit wider.
Yeah,
so it's a nice, easy pass.
I got really mad about this as well.
Janssen didn't move an inch. Wiedwald, who clearly didn't want the back pass in the first place, looks up. Janssen's barely moved. Wiedwald plays the pass to Janssen anyway. And then Janssen turns and just passes it straight out of play. We're just thinking, just drop back 5 yards and none of this happens.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most frustrating parts I saw just defensively.
You mentioned Anita then. I was just saying to Jack on way in here. Again, I can only go off the extended highlights that I've seen of this, but it looked to have had an alright game. To be fair, I said to Jack whether that's based on the fact that he's been god awful up to press and he just didn't do all majorly wrong. I don't know, but he seemed a bit more like it.
Yeah, I thought him and Dallas seemed to work quite well together on the right hand side as a defensive unit. Anyway, I know we didn't really get forward all that much, but as a defensive unit, they seemed to work pretty well together. He put in a great tackle as well down in the corner. They were that big slide tackle. I think it was had to give away a throw in our corner. But yeah, for the most part, he seemed perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to stick with him for the next game.
Yeah, I was saying in ratings, I think he got the 4th highest. I think Hernandez got man at match, Lasoga for sure, and then him. I think it was, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I'd say that's perfectly reasonable from what I saw.
But yeah, we got, while all this sarcasm were going on, we'd also had yet another shite ref. And then we got a free kick. And the cheer for the free kick lasted about a minute. They celebrated it like the fucking Beckford goal against Bristol Rovers. It was just went for it. And all of a sudden, it all turned. The crowd, I don't know whether it was just fuck it. And everyone just jumped into getting right behind him. And it didn't take long after that. I mean, Lasoga's goal was a brilliant cross from Hernandez to find him. And he actually had that's why I was saying, speaking of ignoring passes out to the right, Saka was actually in acres to his right with what would naturally be a better angle for a cross. But because he's Hernandez, not Sacco, he ended up putting in a brilliant ball. And it was a cracking finish.
He would another one and all. Again, I say it again, I'm only basing this off extended highlights I've seen.
Yeah, but basically, Connie got called away for a family emergency thing, so he couldn't go to the game this week.
The extended highlights that I've seen of it, he didn't seem as leggy. Did Hernandez either towards latter stage? It didn't seem that way anyway.
No, he got stronger and stronger as game went on. He got more and more effective. He was probably his best attacking threat in the first half as well. Yeah. It's just that in saying a great deal.
No,
but in the second half, it was just quality.
Yeah.
I keep saying it. I don't think he'll be here next year, but I want to be wrong.
Hernandez.
Yeah. I want to be wrong. I think he's got one more year.
I think he has if it's the more likely of the two and we don't go up.
Well, we're not going. No, we're just not.
In Championship.
But the Leeds fans told me we were going up.
But yeah, if we're going to have another year in Championship at least, then yeah, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I think every time we've seen him so far, especially when he's been kind of moved out to the left, he's had a number of really good games there, just cutting inside, bringing other people into the game. One thing I did quite like that he did very well. He drifted inside in the second half, and he gave De Bock a good bit of space on the left to kind of push forward and either drag a man away or to release him and get a cross in.
Well, Casey, I'm glad you've brought him up because I've got a new bugbear with Leeds United,
and it is,
and that is that the more I watch Lawrence De Bock, the more I think he's fucking useless. It's not him going forward. Him going forward, I actually think he's fine. But he's constantly 5 yards wrong side of his man. When someone runs at him, he looks scared to tackle. When the ball comes in the air, he either doesn't jump for it or loses the header, or when he does win it, heads it the wrong way. When he tackles, the number of times he tackles with the wrong foot or comes in from the wrong side.
Now hang on a minute. Lucas Radebe made a career of tackling with the wrong leg.
Yeah, he did, but he used to time him well. I said in the play ratings thing, I hope it's just him taking a while to adjust. But I thought against Sheffield United, it was absolutely terrible. And I thought it was probably slightly worse.
So I was saying then, essentially, that at this moment in time, we've replaced and we've got another Ian Hart.
No, because Ian Hart was far better than this.
Yeah, but he was an attacker.
Also, Lawrence de Bock doesn't hate Spanish people.
We don't know this. Have you seen him and Tom Pearce have a conversation yet?
I don't know if you guys saw, Ian Hart posted a picture. He was in one of the boxes with Nigel Hatton and Lee Boyer. And I just retweeted it and put the caption, Ian Hart with his English friends.
Yeah, it's. I did say that was one of the things that I did actually see recently. Seemed to get quite a lot of good feedback from it. Yeah, given recent tweets.
Ian Hart had that little moment. I don't know if I'm guessing you guys would have saw through the agency he works for, runs. I'm not entirely sure which it is, about a player not starting, and I can't remember who it was.
Oh, I did see that. I can't remember which team it was, but I did see it. No, actually, I remember because I translated the tweet into Spanish and tweeted it as a quote tweet.
Yes, you did. I remember seeing it.
But yeah, obviously Lasogga's goal got us back into it. All atmosphere picked up, and then Roof's goal. Good ball in, flicked on well. I'm not actually sure who got the flick on. I think it might have been Lasogga, but I'm not sure. But it was really clever movement. He started about 15 yards beyond the far post. And it was quite clever. It made it very hard to mark him. He got in front, scored, which was the good side of Gianni Vio. But what I wonder is, does he do any work on defending set pieces as well?
I'm going to go put it out there and say no. Because since he's come in, don't get me wrong, some of the attacking set pieces have been brilliant. But we've got worse defensively at corners, set piece, any sort of set play.
I mean, it wasn't a secret, Magnussen's long throw.
No,
he doesn't always play, but when he does, they use it every game. So there must have been someone, even if it wasn't academy lads, there must be someone with a long throw that they can use to practice.
Yeah, surely. But yeah, I mean, I don't know with Gianni Vio. I've been a bit sceptical of him. I've spoke to you about it, Jack. I know I have, but I don't know. It's just if you're going to set someone on to be a set piece specialist, it's got to work both ways. It's got to do for me anyway. Yeah,
it was frustrating. One thing that kept popping up to me, and you saw it quite a few times in replays. I think in the first half anyway, Pennington was marking Aidan Flint. And I just remember watching, I think it was just after the first goal, I think it was the next long throw that went in from Bristol's left. And Pennington was starting on the wrong side of Flint and then basically trying to get him in a waist lock to stop him getting away. And you just going, just get goal side, give it arm's length. I just keep hold of him with your arm. But instantly, Flint was just pulling away from him, and the only thing Pennington was seemingly able to do was trying to wrestle him to the ground. And he couldn't do that. Yeah. It's more like Flint was dragging him along.
I must admit, I've never seen a team exploit a player being good in the air quite so well.
No.
Like, it won't have made the highlights, so you probably won't have seen it.
Right.
But when Bristol City had a goal kick, Aidan Flint went and stood on the right wing.
Jeez.
Even though he's playing centre-half. And they just aimed the goal kicks at him. They aimed everything at him whenever he could get forward. If free kick was 70 yards from goal, he'd go stand up front, crossfield ball. Every single thing was aimed at Aidan Flint. And I can't knock him for it. I think it's a good idea. But
how many goals has he got roughly this? I bet he's on over 6.
He's got 7.
There you go, centre half. You know, it's. And how many years does he get above half a dozen goals for a centre half? Most years is
since he started breaking through. Since he started going properly at Bristol City, it's been every year.
Yeah,
because he had that one year where he got about 16 in League One.
Yeah, didn't he? Now.
Yeah. But yeah, after the equaliser, in a way, I almost wish we hadn't nearly nicked it because it made it more annoying in a way.
Yeah.
But we really could have nicked this game. Forshaw's effort that went wide.
Yeah.
He'd back himself to do better. Phillips's header that went over. Defender got a touch as it were coming to him, so it was hard to adjust. But I bet he'd back himself.
Well, that was one of the things that obviously did make it in. And at first play, I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, that's horrible. But then when it showed you it from reverse angle, he actually did well to adjust himself and get something on it, I thought, because at speed it came in, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I think because it's Flint, I think, that gets the touch, and it just takes it that little bit higher than than it needed to be for Phillips. And I think it's one of those things where you get used, you see it once in real time, and then you watch it 7 times in slow motion. You're like, well, clearly he should have got to, and then you see it back again in real time. And go, oh no, that was travelling pretty fast, actually. He's done well to get it that close, to be honest.
Speaking of Phillips, you two will have a better thing than me because I haven't actually seen a replay of it. Was Phillips's dive as blatant as it looked from the cop?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. He should have been, he deserved fucking. Yeah, it was
Because
awful.
I jumped up with everyone else, but it lasted about half a second. I went, nah, it would dive.
It was horrible. When they showed it at reverse angle, you just thought, oh, for fuck's sake, come on.
I haven't actually seen it back, but in the ground I thought it was. And then, obviously, right at the end, Lasogga.
Unreal.
I mean, it was a right ball in. God, that's the best I've ever seen him get up.
Yeah, it was like it was head and shoulders above him.
He seemed to be about 12 foot in air, didn't he? That time he had powered it straight against crossbar. Last touch at game.
I woke Jacqueline up because for the time difference here, it was, I think it's like 9. It's coming up to 9:45 in the morning. It's Sunday. We just moved in. She was having a long lie-in. And it's 2-2 with battle by the last minute. And then she was walking up with, oh, for fuck's sake. It's like, what's wrong? Oh, we've just hit the bar in the last second.
Yeah, it was an odd feeling after the game, really, because a point is not enough from that game. But if you're 2-0 down at half time,
you take it.
You can't get that pissed off about a 2-2. I mean, it just brings into perspective how bad that first half performance was. Because as soon as we got going, they didn't look like anything.
I think that's what's more frustrating about it all as well. The fact that we've shown. When we turn it on and the crowd get going, we're forced to be reckoned with. It's there. There's no denying it's there. Well, it's just they make life so hard for themselves.
When you look at the last 3 home games, well, 3-0 down to Millwall, down to 10 men, 2-0 down to Cardiff, down to 10 men, and 2-0 down to Bristol City.
Yeah. Speaking of Lasogga, though, anyway, one for you here, Casey. You may or may not have seen it. He put on Twitter after, thanking all fans for the support and all that. First 2 people to like it were Don Matteo and Matthias Click. We've got him in there for you, Casey. Hashtag Click News.
I think the most disappointing thing for me coming out of this game is, outside of the defensive errors, was just as he came on, I'm wishing he would have got a goal purely so we could have lived it out. Sacco scores and we're on the pitch. Because that came through. That came through very clearly.
Yeah, there's a few other things that there's quite a lot to talk about from this game, isn't there? Really, we played an actual 4-4-2, which surprised me. Do you think he'll stick with that?
I would. I don't know. For next game, though, with it being Derby away, it's a toughie, isn't it?
Do you know the thing that does it for me? It's not who it is. Size is back. Where's he going to play in a 4-4-2?
The only thing you could do, and I wouldn't do it. It's not fair to Hernandez, put him on left. But then where does Hernandez go?
Yeah. Or you play him as like a support striker.
I won't be too opposed to that.
I wouldn't be, but
that's what I thought.
That's what I think is most likely. But I liked Lasogga having someone to do donkey work for him.
Yeah.
I think that helps.
Yeah, Ekuman wasn't the most effective player, but he still puts in a shift in that first however long he was on for. Was it an hour or so? He puts in a lot of running and closing down, and I think having someone like that kind of motivates Lasogga to do a bit more as well.
Yeah.
which is quite nice to see. I will say that's one of the better games I've seen out of La Soga. Just at times, even seeing him in our half, just trying to break up play a little bit. I think he has, like you say, he's got a sort of renewed interest now. And I do think possibly after the Newport game, it's been a bit of a kick up the arse for him.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we're awful first half, so you do have to lay some of that. That's mostly on the players, I think, but some of it has to go on manager. Always does. Yeah. But one difference between him and Christensen is the subs he made a difference.
And there was some sort of logic towards it and all, which had been lacking for the last few weeks under Christensen.
Yeah, there was no striker going off when you're behind.
Yeah.
I mean, there was. Ekiban went off, but another one came on. It wasn't like...
Yeah, that and he offered something different in Roof coming on. He offers... It's totally different, isn't it, what you get into Ekiban. Yeah,
it's much more of a natural goal scorer than Ekiban, even if his work rate and his pace isn't as high.
Yeah.
The last main question out of that game, then, I'm pretty sure that this will be quite short, but it's been asked all over Twitter. It's about the fourth time I've had to ask it this season. Wiedwald, does he stay in for you?
Yes.
Yeah. I think now, at this point, there's not much point. We're not going to get much from dropping him. No. I think it's just going to kind of shatter his confidence even more. So the other thing I would say is once it gets to a point when we can no longer mathematically go up, then maybe have a look at, like you say, Peacock Farrell, Miyazek, or I was reading through your tweets from the under-23 game today and maybe give Huffer a go.
Will Huffer was really good today, by the way.
Right.
He was really good. My man at match today.
I was going to say,
it might well have been Hassana if he hadn't got himself sent off for diving.
Brilliant.
Because up until then, he'd been pretty good.
I think out of the three options that are more realistic out for you, I think Lonergan, just forget about it. We're nigh on God anyway, won't he? I think he's there just making up numbers. But I'm with KC. If and when it gets to the point where it's mathematically certain we're not doing anything, fit him in then. Give him a chance.
Oh, yeah. If we're 6 games left, 12 points off playoffs, 15, 16 points off. Yeah. We're just... And safe as well. Just one of them where you are mid-table no matter what. Then, that's the time. Maybe play Peacock Farrell, maybe Hassana, El Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with any random word with
Dostoevsky.
And Dostoevsky is Russian. I have no idea where that came from.
El Ruski.
That's his new one. He's a collaborator. Fucking Connie.
Fuck's sake.
Hell, the under-23s have been exposed.
So, away from that game and now, there's been little bits of news, not all that much. Victor Sanchez, the Victor that played on wing for Deportivo and beat him in Champions League, came out in press saying that he was contacted about the Leeds job. But he didn't say like he turned it down and they went with Heckingbottom. He said they contacted me, but they went with Heckingbottom.
What is he doing at the moment, if anything?
I'm not sure if he's in the job now. He was managing Betis.
Yeah. I think
apparently he is after an English job because he's been linked with a few, so I think his agent must be getting his name over.
Yeah, out of the two, I'm glad, although he's managed at a decent level, but it sounds of it, I'm glad they've gone for an English manager out of two. I know people have got the reservations about Heckingbottom, but at least he knows the league. I think if they're your two options, I would sooner have an English manager.
Yeah, it's another odd one to crop up. It's probably a step, at least it's a step above being, in the Cypriot leagues. But yeah, I think it's probably best that we went with an English manager. I don't know. At times I do wonder if they hire an English manager so that they can fail and then go, look, you need a foreigner. Go get one of them Spaniards. They know how to play the nice game.
And in walks Tom Pearce.
Imagine Ian Hart if we'd have appointed a Spanish manager. Jesus Christ, imagine it. I'm putting it out there now. That's why Raul Bravo's loan spell failed miserably at Leeds. Ian Hart made
That's
his life
what it
hell.
is.
Ian Hart bullied him.
He's still pissed off about it.
That's it.
We've unlocked it.
He looked at Raul Bravo, did Ian Hart, thinking, I got linked with Barcelona, Roma, everyone. That bastard shows up and I end up at Levante and Blackpool.
Right, well, then there was just annoying news. Tyler Roberts arrived injured, got back in training for a day. Now has a crack in his shin and will be out for an extended period.
Yay!
Are we assuming that he probably had that when he signed?
Probably.
Sounds likely, doesn't it?
But, you know, we have top medical facilities at Thorpe Arch.
If they were taking a chance on it, then that's fine. But
Just be honest.
yeah, because didn't Don Matteo fail his medical and everything? And
Yeah.
then he was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think Don Matteo failed the sobriety test, though.
he definitely failed on certain bookmaking sites.
Don't even have to say allegedly there either.
No, he wrote it in his book. I mean, I love Don Matteo, but it's true. Speaking of injuries, it sounds like Conor Shaughnessy is going to need an operation because it's similar to Ayling's injury, and Ayling's had his. Yeah. Ayling's target is to be fit for the start of pre-season, so we're not seeing him again this year.
No.
So Shaughnessy's is to be fit for November?
Yeah, maybe.
Then he has a setback, so call it March.
Oh, no,
So he's out for a year.
KC, it's fine. We're safe now. I've just read down to the next point now what we're going to make
Yeah,
of the player who's
our
available.
really big injury news is that following cracked ribs, Wassim Boy is back in training.
Yes.
When was he in training? I didn't realise he'd gone away to come back to training.
I know that he was in training because they showed one of them like 50-second videos at players arriving and he was like the last guy on one. But yeah. Do you think he gets in a match day squad between now and the end of the season?
Possibly, yeah. I'm not saying he warrants it.
Yeah.
Not saying he's good enough,
Well,
but I think he will.
I mean,
we don't know.
From what we've heard, he isn't, but we don't know.
No.
Yeah, we don't know, but if he's not good enough to get into the Leonessa team, and I've not seen Leonessa play, and sorry to shatter the illusion that we watch all the Leonessa games as well to keep check on Yosuke and Boy before that, but clearly Boy wasn't good enough to play for Leonessa, and I'm not entirely sure, but I would take a wild guess that Leonessa probably quite aren't up to our standards. So it doesn't fill me with confidence that if he can't play for them, that he's going to get in the team for us.
No. Apparently, Ideguchi hasn't had the best start either out there.
I saw he started. He started their last game?
Yeah, I think he got subbed at half time.
Oh.
I think a lot of it, though, could be just, especially with Midaguchi, just, it could be just culture fit.
Yeah, hell of a culture shift, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Here, have 3 days in England, then go to Spain. Go, make
It's
it
true,
happen.
actually, because nothing prepares you for beasting quite like 6 months in Spain.
Damn right.
They're almost identical. Same language. Well, it is at Leeds.
Yep.
Here's your Yorkshire pudding and your pint of bitter. Drink it, eat it, then fuck off to Spain.
Listen, work for Tony Yeboah. Loved his Yorkshire puddings, did that lad.
He likes a lot of food.
So I got the power. It's all in my ass. Yeah. Speaking of young players, some of them out on loan, Heckingbottom said that he won't be just giving away debuts to kids, but he has watched them a few times. And Clark and Pearce have been training with first team. Clark's not now because he's out in Qatar. I haven't actually put it in my notes, but all the under-18s and some under-16s, I think, are out in Qatar at the minute playing in a tournament.
Right.
It's like a Tri-Nation setup or Tri, whatever they want to call it. It is basically a 3-way tournament that they do quite regularly. I was reading an article about it. I think it was, I believe it was Moscow White from the Square Ball posted a link to their website which talks about the tournament, and then they post the results as well. And yeah, they do get a good range of teams that are in there. You see international teams playing like under 20 fixtures there. A lot of anywhere from like the under 15s to under 18s from like Real Madrid, Palmeiras, Liverpool, PSG. So they do get a good range there.
Yeah, they do try. Well, yeah, we were on about him earlier. It's it could be a big thing for us actually. But Lasogga said his future will be decided at end of season. But he does seem to be a lot happier now at Leeds. Apparently, his missus and his kid have moved over now,
Right, cool.
which I'm guessing has helped.
Yeah.
But that's been one of the main topics of conversation. If we are able to find a deal that could work, would you want him back next year?
A lot depends on what you've just said. If
It
the
depends on
deal's
money.
right, it depends on his wages. If a fee, how much?
I'm guessing it won't be much because although they might go down, they're bottom of the league, aren't they?
They always get out of it, though, Hamburg. They
Because
really do.
If they go down, you'd think they'd want him in Bundesliga too.
You'd think so, but whether he'd want to stay for the kick-off.
And whether they could afford.
Yeah.
What is he on? 50? Was it 50k a week?
Apparently, it's about 50 grand a week. Now, if he was willing to come, he would be willing to take a pay cut. It depends how much of a pay cut.
I think it'd still be on 30, 35 grand.
I was thinking more for them because even if he's got a bit of a relegation clause in there, still a big wage to be paying in the second division.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of clubs in Germany, especially like the more well-known ones like Hamburg, they are run a hell of a lot more securely than ours, I do think. But
you can just say better. It's fine.
But yeah, I won't be too bothered about him being here next season, provided the wages were right. If he's going to be swallowing up more than £35,000 a week of your wage budget, it's the better that we could go for.
I say if we could get the deal right, I would. I think if you play him properly and stop trying to use him as a target man and stuff, I think he's I think he's 25 goals.
Oh, if you have him with a willing runner, then yeah.
But it all depends on money. But it does sound like at the start of the season I would have said no chance, and now I think there's a chance.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting move for someone on a season-long loan and I'm guessing, his family will have been over here a bit longer than, it would have been the day his wife moved over that it got reported. But, if they're moving over in January, it's a fairly short time to move over for to then move back. So
I think
you do wonder if they've had if there's been an inclination towards any sort of talk towards him from his agent or from the club, saying if we can make a deal happen, we would like this to happen, and that's why that's happened. It's
possible, but I think it's probably got more to do with they wouldn't have wanted to move the kid over until it was like 2 or 3 months old.
Mm-hmm. It's still,
yeah, true.
Because the kid was born like the night before the Ipswich game, wasn't it? Because then he scored in that game.
He scored. But it's still a big upheaval, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like KC says, when you've only got a few months of the season left, if there were nothing there at all, would you bother?
Hopefully, she really likes New Victoria quarters.
Well, interestingly, there is a picture of her in the German edition of 442 behind the bar of the pavilion with the bar staff, and I know it's because I know one of the guys who works back there. I
thought you were going to say because I read the German version of 442.
The Wir zwei.
Tom Pearce only reads Quattro Dos.
But yeah, so I think one of the guys I know, he posted this picture on Facebook, and it's her there behind the bar with a couple of the bar staff who look slightly uncomfortable.
Do they look as uncomfortable as that picture of Lasogga and his mum?
Well, I haven't seen that, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I'll send you it after we're done recording if I can find it.
but she certainly looks a bit drunk. So, yeah, interesting, but she seems to be acclimatising well.
Well, Leeds, people like a beer. Germany, people like a beer.
Yeah.
Should be all right.
Fair enough.
In slightly less high-profile news, Liam Kitchens extended his loan at Harrogate till end of season.
Fair enough.
Even at that level, because it's actual competitive football, I do think it's better than playing youth football for Leeds.
Yeah.
Scored last week, apparently. So. got his first goal from centre back.
It's like we said in past, there's an expectation in under 23s, but there's a genuine expectation of some sorts when you're out there, even if it's Harrogate Town. So yeah.
He's going to be playing in front of 300 of the most well-behaved, politest fans in the country. There is a certain expectation there.
Yeah, that's true. They're not scum like Harrogate Railway.
In my head, though, you get someone playing at Harrogate Town. Trying to get get his teammates excited to go, fucking come on, boys, and there's someone on the sideline go, we do not care for that here, thank you.
Sorry, I'm just a bit tickled there. Jack's just unexpected fucking tirade about Harrogate Railway. Just go, yeah, the scum.
Very, very other team.
That's the working class side of Harrogate.
There's 3 of them. Yeah. But and then this afternoon, which is quite good timing for us, Leeds have announced a freeze on season ticket prices if you buy by Friday the 30th of March. And that's based on whatever it was this season. So like yours, Connie, because yours was frozen from last season.
Yeah, so it'll stay...
to begin with, so it would stay the
again.
same. Because I got mine at the start of this season, it's frozen at that.
Yeah. Which is fair enough, yeah.
So now, if you've had it for a couple of years, North and South is 445. For me, 536. New one's 562.
Yep.
The West Stand now, 537 for if you've had it 2 years, 646 for last year, 710 quid for a new one.
Yep.
Ooh.
I mean, that's so much. Jesus. Family 398 for it, 4 and 508, and just East is 537, 646 and 678. Yeah. So it's, I mean, the prices for non-renewals are a joke.
Yeah,
they're so high. It is good that they've put a freeze on them for renewals.
Yeah.
But the most interesting thing for me, and something that I'm genuinely tempted by, renewing my ticket in COP is 536 quid. Now, the atmosphere in the ends is better in North and South than it is side on. Everyone knows that. But if you buy, they're allowing season tickets in the East Stand Upper again next season.
Right.
And if you get one in the back 8 rows of the East Stand Upper, but you can get one pretty near halfway.
Yeah.
349 quid.
You're joking?
That's £15, like between 15.15 and 15.20 per game.
When I was a kid, me and my dad had season tickets up in the upper tier at East Stand. We weren't right at the back. I'd say we were about a quarter of the way up the second tier. And brilliant view. It's but for that price, it's something to think about.
I am seriously tempted to get one of them.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One, my eyes are pretty good. So watching it from that high, I still think that I'd get a better idea of the game from than I would from the COP, which helps for writing stuff about it. But also, it's the East Stand Upper. How often is it going to sell out?
Well, it isn't. I'm
probably not going to be getting one with someone unless KC gets back in the country and we see what happens.
Genuinely, I would. I was about
to give it a.
If KC's back in the country, but what I was thinking is genuinely, if that doesn't sell out, buy one in the back 8 rows, wait till 4 minutes into the game,
and just move
and just walk down.
Seriously, I'm in the West Stand at the moment, but I'd consider it.
350 quid.
It's nothing.
It's really not a bad deal, and
No.
I'm genuinely tempted to do it.
It's not a bad deal. Sign up by March, and then they'll sell Janssen and fucking size will go.
Darryl on Twitter did tweet us that. He just said, "Great, I can spend 650 quid to renew my ticket, and then we can sell Janssen and size in the summer."
For the East Stand Upper, I'd definitely take that, especially. Just getting in, like you say. I think if you don't have an issue seeing, particularly, or if you're not too fussed for being tightly packed in to either the North or South Stand, then it's a good alternative to have. At that price, like you say, for what was it, like between 15 and 16 quid a game?
No, it's definitely 15 something. My math skills out what the ones were. I think it's like 15, 17 or something. £15.17.
Like you can't knock that.
No, you can't. It's like you say. It's if you're willing to, compromise maybe a little bit of atmosphere that you get there as well. But still, for that price, I think there'd be more people than we'd have on that would take you up on it.
15.1739.
There you go.
It's the 0.0039, Bob Shaw. Get it right.
It's one thing that interests me is whenever I look at the price of the West Stand, I always kind of think of it as in terms of trying to boost your reputation. Because if you look now, especially for new applicants, or even just renewing how expensive it is in the West Stand, you want to push as many people as you can over to the East Stand, make that look more full each week. So, because for the amount of times we're on TV, you want that to look full. And I think if you're someone like Raj Razani, who cares as much about public image and reputation as he does, if the West Stand is you barely ever see it on TV. So if you try and push everyone onto the side, yeah. You will. I think the only time you ever see it is when there's someone taking a throw-in down there. But even then, you don't see much of it.
No.
If you can push as many people as you can over to the east side, over to the East Stand, and fill that up as much as possible, just to make it look like we have, even when we haven't sold out, that we have.
I just like it at West Stand because you get to serve your beer in a glass.
That's
like
not being in the West Stand, mate. That's being in the Bremner Suite.
Yeah,
that's a different thing. Well, it's 350 quid in East Stand up at. How much is a Bremner Suite one?
Jesus Christ. Have you got the prices for the renewals there?
I don't think Bremner Suite was on the list.
No, normally the Bremner Suite, it was on there.
Well, it should be on there.
It normally was on there, but looking at the list now, there's nothing there.
No, there's just West Stand. It'll be whatever it was last year, but...
But I tell you what, though, it's...
I bet. Does that mean you could get two in the East Stand upper for one in the Bremner Suite?
Yeah.
See, yeah, it's big differences.
Give or take 30 quid.
Yeah,
yeah, you could. Yeah, it's a good idea of them, definitely. Like I say, I went up there quite a bit when I was a kid, when my dad used to take me. Not, as I say, not quite as far back as that, but up enough.
Yeah,
and it was great. You didn't miss anything. Like I say, if your eyes are all right and you're happy to lose a little bit of atmosphere, go for it.
I say for the 200 quid's worth of difference,
I'd be willing to take that.
I'm kind of tempted.
Yeah,
we'll see. Right, well, that didn't seem to take that long, so do you reckon we've got time to sneak in a Who Playeds?
I think we have.
KC, as you're in Portland and have a laptop and we're just sat in a studio, I think you're the one asking.
Yeah.
There'll be no cut to you at home. So, KC, have you got a game for us?
I have just the game for you guys. We are going to go back to Wednesday, the 14th of March, 2001.
Ooh.
And Leeds played their final Champions League group game against Lazio in a 3-3 draw at Ellen Road. We made a number of changes to the team. Still, all first-team players. It's not Leeds v Derby here.
There's no Roberto Bailey.
No Roberto Bailey, unfortunately. The only thing that this doesn't tell me is the subs that came on. So I will allow... We named 6 subs because I believe we were going through a bit of an injury crisis at that point. So I will also give points for the substitutes that you guys name.
By the way, how mental was the Champions League structure that year? Group game in March.
Yep, ridiculous.
Yeah, that was the second group stage.
Yeah.
After you've... 2 go through from the first... Yeah, what did we do? 3rd round of qualifying, group stage, finish that, group stage, and then was it straight... And then to the quarterfinals?
Then straight to Depot in the Quarters and Valencia in the semis.
Yeah.
All right, so let me have a look. I have a coin here. I will let Jack, you call it.
Heads.
It is heads. Do you want to go first or second?
Sure, I'll go first. This is another one of the bad ones, because, I was there.
Yeah, well, that's...
It's just with it being... Because we'd already qualified, I think, haven't we?
That is 17 years ago.
It is 17 years ago, but it's the Champions
God.
League.
Don't say that, Con.
Sorry.
I feel old.
We are old.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right, Jack, your first guess.
Right. Who will have definitely played despite there being changes?
You see, there's two that I thought, and then I thought, actually, no. No, they might not have done.
Did we have many of
We'll go with the 2 wrong and you're not out.
Okay, then there's a chance it could be wrong, because it's possible to have brought in someone else. Brexit means Brexit, Ian Hart.
Ian Hart was in the starting lineup, correct?
Cool.
Over to Connie.
I'm going to go with Alan Smith.
Alan Smith is incorrect.
Wow.
See,
He's not in the starting lineup or on the bench.
Wow.
this is what worried me, because of it's that game. Like, normally you could just go, the main team, if it weren't for the main 11,
Yeah.
with 2 guesses, with 2 wrongs, you'd get it.
Yeah.
But with changes, it can be a bit tricky.
Back to Jack.
Well, if he wasn't in the squad at all, then the other one must have been Viduka.
Mark Viduka is correct.
Starting or bench?
He was starting. I will say Leeds were playing the Quattro fucking dose in this game.
Right then.
And back to Concannon.
This has knocked me that now. The Smithy thing's knocked me. And I don't go for goalie.
I'm avoiding that as well.
I will say either way you go.
Yeah, we're
for
gonna
the
say-
goal,
Oh yeah, if
you'll
we're
be
getting
settled.
subs, we're probably all right.
Sod it. I'm
Yeah,
using
so-
it because I've lost a life already. Martin.
Correct. Nigel Martin was one of the 2 goalkeepers in the squad.
Starting
Back
out
to
on the
Jack.
bench.
He was on the bench.
I said Robbo played.
Well, I
Field,
assume
didn't
then that Paul Robinson.
Yep, Jack, that is correct. Paul Robinson starting in goal.
Yeah, it took us a while when. Oh yeah, we're getting subs as well. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna go with Ollie Decor.
That is correct. He was also on the bench.
Jesus.
The one clue I will give you is we had 2 of our big name defenders, and I will say the big name defenders were not involved in this game. The biggest of the big names.
Danny Hay.
Is that an answer, Jack?
No,
No, for the love of God,
no. But he was
Jack,
there, so
it's okay, could've
no,
been.
but it was there, so it is possible that he was at least on the bench. But I'm going to be safer, and I'm going to say Danny Mills.
Danny Mills is correct, playing central defence that night.
In that case, then, if he was playing central defence, I'm going to go with Gary Kelly.
That is correct. Gary Kelly at right back.
Yeah.
Back to Jack.
Just the way you reacted, Danny Hay.
Danny Hay is correct.
Jesus.
Yes, he was one of the central defenders on the bench. Back to Connie.
I'm taking a risk here. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm saving it till later when I'm getting a bit more desperate. I'm going to go for Kewell.
That is correct. Mark Viduka's strike partner for the evening.
Glad I didn't go with what I was going to do then.
There are no more big name strikers in the team. I will say that. There is a striker on the bench, but he
Yes.
is not a big name.
No,
It could be one of the ones that I think it.
I've got a good
From-
idea.
Right. What was he injured at that point? If the car was on the bench.
I will say to you, just from the starting lineup, you have one central defender, and you have the whole of the midfield left. So a right mid, a left mid, and 2 centre mids.
Good. That's what I have on my piece of paper as gaps. You see, it's just because we made changes that I'm scared.
Yeah.
But he barely rested that season. Lee Bowyer.
Lee Bowyer is correct. He was a central midfielder that night. One thing I will say, Harry Kewell was up front.
I'm gonna say David Batty.
David Batty is correct. He was on the bench though.
Tell you what, that's not bad on bench for centre mids, Decor and Batty. Stephen McPhail.
Stephen McPhail is incorrect.
I'm shocked at that. I thought it'd have been in there.
Yeah.
No, there is.
That's one of them each.
Yep, so you are both down a life. Back to Concannon.
Eric Backer
Is incorrect. No Eric Backer.
Wow.
I was pretty sure that was right. I mean, he scored a fair
He scored a few in Champions League, didn't he? Wow. So my two wrong guesses have been Eric Backer and Alan Smith.
I know. It's unbelievable. So we still have a central defender, a centre midfielder, your left and right midfielder. We have a central defender on the bench and a striker on the bench.
Right, I'm scared because all the ones coming into my head, I'm scared of wrong because it was a rotating team. Who definitely worked? Oh, who might? If we were making a load of changes, I'm going to take a shot that one at wingers is Darren Huckabee.
Oh, that is incorrect.
I had him earmarked for the other striker.
Well, it was Viduka and Kewell.
I'm on the bench.
Oh,
If I remember rightly, Huckabee had gone at this point because he played in the first group stages.
Yeah,
but he was not around at this point.
oh, had he already gone? Because I remember him scoring against Besiktas.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, he came on. I think he made at least 3 or 4 sub appearances in the Champions League, but he never. Yeah, I think by this point he'd left. He was either out on loan or we'd sold him.
I think one of the transfer questions, I think we sold him at Man City. I think that was one of the things that got asked before.
Yeah.
In an old quiz.
So that's 2 incorrect answers each. So let's go to Connie, and then after that I will start giving clues as to players.
Right.
Well,
I think I've got a decent shout here for one of the wingers. Jason Wilcox.
Okay. Yeah.
Jason Wilcox is correct.
Yeah, as soon as you said that. Forgot about him, actually.
Yeah.
He is one of the forgotten players of that period, especially the season before when Kewell was out injured. He had a great run.
Wasn't that the year he scored that absolute belter against Sunderland at Stadium of Light?
Him and Bridges scored because that was Bridges' return.
My memory of him scoring a belter was that right-footed screamer against Bolton when Danny Mills scored a left-foot screamer in the same game.
Wasn't that the one that hit Bard and went in at Mills?
Yeah. So what do we have left? We have
2 midfielders and a centre-back.
Yeah, we have centre-back, centre-mid. I'm going to say for the right midfielder, we probably know him better as a right-back.
I did have one that I was going to say earlier because I know for a fact he played in the Champions League. And that's Alan Mabry.
Alan Mabry, yeah.
Alan Mabry is correct.
Bench
he was the right midfielder.
Oh, he was the right midfielder. I remember because he came up when we were talking about the 4-3 against Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also got injured, and I think it was like the last 2 minutes, and got stretched off, and I believe they had a free kick and scored from it. Right. If I remember rightly, but I know he went off injured right at the end.
You have a much better memory of this game than I do, for certain.
Yeah.
This game really stands out to me. This game is one of the reasons now on Football Manager, whenever it gets to the end of a group stage or a season, I rest a lot of my first team. This is the game that started that. So what do we have left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
And starting, we've got a centre half still getting a centre midfielder.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then 2 subs.
It's so weird because there's so many centre-backs that we both know, but we don't.
Yep. I'm going to throw one out there and all, and I think it could be, I think it is wrong. Seth Johnson.
That is incorrect.
Shock horror. Injured, I bet.
Had we signed him at this point?
I'm not sure. I can't remember what's it.
It was about that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when we signed him, to be honest.
Very forgettable period, to be honest.
I keep trying to think if we'd signed him in January, and then I remember we didn't have a transfer window at this point. You could just buy people whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
It was a magical era. So that's Connie with 3 incorrect answers. So, Jack, it's on to you now.
Right. It's not players, it's who. It's just because we know of as rest.
Yep. Oh, actual squad members. I've got about 9 in my head.
Well, I mean, we have 3 top-level centre-backs that we haven't said.
Yep. And 2 of them didn't play.
He's
going to have to bite the bullet here on one of them.
I think I might have to. Just try to think who else it could be. Oh, no, sorry. When I said 3, I'm lying. 4. Who was most likely to play out of them?
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. Yeah.
I honestly forgot about the one who scored a fucking great goal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Don Matteo.
Don Matteo is correct. He was in the starting lineup. He was Danny Mills' defensive partner.
Get in. Because there's so many options at centre-back, but we knew that you've arrested most of them, so I was scared.
So we have a central midfielder in the starting lineup, a central defender, and a striker on the bench. The central defender is the biggest name of the 3. It is not Michael Dewberry.
God.
It's probably one of the ones we've been avoiding then.
I'm going to say Radaby.
It is not Lucas Radaby.
Bugger.
On to Jack.
Then...
It's a 50-50 one now.
We had injuries. One of them's always injured, so it's statistically less likely to be him. So I'm going to say Rio.
It is not Rio Ferdinand.
In that case, then Johnny Woodgate.
Correct. It is Jonathan Woodgate.
So what are we on now? I'm on 4. He's on 3. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And what have we got left? A striker on the bench and a central midfielder.
A shit striker and a shit central midfielder.
Shit striker.
Had he come through yet as a shit central midfielder?
I was going to say there's an argument that he never came through, even as he continued his career.
I've got an answer for centre mid spot.
I've got one that I'm not sure about, and I know he was there around that time, and I know he did. I'm 99% certain he played in that run, and with rotation as well.
Because KC sounded disparaging, it's got rid of one of my 2 options. So I'm going to go with the young Paul Ocon, Jacob Burns.
God.
It is Jacob Burns. That is correct. To close out the starting lineup, Robinson in goal, Kelly, Hart, Mills and Matteo, Boyer, Burns, Mabry, Wilcox and Viduka and Kewell.
We drew with Lazio with Alan Mabry and Jacob Burns in midfield. It was a hell of a team, wasn't it?
And bearing in mind they had players like Ravanelli, they had Nedved and Lopez, Stankovic, a very good team. Mihailovic.
They also had a Tilly or Lombardo.
So all we've got then is a striker.
And a shit one at that.
And I went first and I think we've lost 3 lives each.
No, I've lost 4.
Oh, have you lost 4?
I've lost 4.
Oh.
I think I have anyway, KC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's my go and all, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's why I'm thrown off. It's because we only named 6 subs, so we've got an odd number.
Yeah.
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 And I'm not even sure if he were a striker now, I'll be honest with you all. But just because you were saying he was a shit one, Tony Hackworth.
Tony Hackworth is correct.
Yes.
Well done. For me, it was a 50-50 between him and Lee Matthews.
Didn't Lee Matthews play at the new camp? Or was that Hackworth?
Didn't they both play at the new camp?
Jesus.
We will come to we might come to that one on another day. But that's the subs bench of Martin, Decor, Woodgate, Batty, Hay, Hackworth. really tails off at the end.
So what do we end up on that then, Casey?
Let's have a look. So Jack has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Connie with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ooh.
That's close. Basically, Jack
You can have a massive go at David O'Leary for not naming a 7th sub because he might have got you a draw.
Yeah, the bell end.
Well, yeah, Connie got all but one of the subs, and Jack got most of the starting lineup.
I'll be honest, with the striker, I would have been an in. When you said that Huckabee were on the wing, that threw that one out. Then I was thinking Bridges. Then I thought, no, he'll have been crocked around then. And then when you said he was shit, I thought, well, Bridges wants shit. He was just a crock.
No, if you going into that, I had 2. I had Hackworth or Lee Matthews. I thought that it'd be one of them.
Yeah.
And if it had been neither of them, I don't think he was anywhere near the first team yet, but if it had been neither of them, I'd have probably ended up with like Simon Johnson or something. Because I'd have been out of youngsters.
Boland.
Craig Fagan. Just throw Craig Fagan out there now. I'm just thinking with
Warren Feeney.
players. Warren Feeney. Wow. Warren fucking Feeney.
So, yep, that is this week's Who Playeds.
Yeah. Back to normal. Back to Connie losing. Okay.
It's alright anyway. When I'm going back to fucking 1954 for you both, you can go bollocks.
Right. So yeah, Wednesday night on telly again. Decent pub night Wednesday.
Traditional.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finished that off then. If you'd have left that at Tradish, I don't think you could have been on podcast anymore.
I'm not too hipster.
Yeah, Derby's last 5, 2-0 loss at Sheff Wednesday at weekend, 1-0 with Norwich, 3-0 win over Brentford, 0-0 Millwall, 0-0 Bristol City. I'll go through theirs first because they've got a really strong squad. It's no wonder they're up there. Carson in goal, who's won player at month, just signed a new contract as well. He's been in really good form. Defensive options, Chris Baird, Richard Keogh, Curtis Davies, Craig Forsyth at left back, and then backups, Wisdom and Max Olsen. Midfield, Tom Huddleston, Joe Ledley, Bradley Johnson, George Thorne, Ikechi Anya, and they've just signed Casey Palmer on loan from Chelsea.
He was awesome in last year for Huddersfield.
He played really well for Huddersfield. And then the attacking options for the sort of... I mean, they've been playing Vidra sort of in behind, haven't they? And he's been in with a decent shout winning Player of the Year this year.
Well, yeah, he looks like he did about 3-4 years ago again, doesn't he?
When he was at Watford. But in addition to Vidra, Tom Lawrence, Sam Winall, Andy Vyman, Dave Nugent and Cameron Jerome.
Where's Johnny Russell now?
I think he went to America.
Did he? I was going to say, because at one point he looked... I know he had his injuries. Yeah. I thought he was still there, that's all.
Yeah, no, I think he went in January.
Fair enough.
I'm not 100%. But, yeah, they've got a really good squad, really good side, 4th in league. But for the first time in a long time, we have options. Because Size, Berardi and Cooper are all back.
Now, out of them 3, I wouldn't drop Anita to facilitate Berardi, and I'd keep with Debok.
I would drop Debok.
Fair enough.
Because I'm pissed off with him.
But
drop Debok.
Can't drop Debok.
But I think the other 2, Cooper's got to come back in, hasn't he? I know Pennington hasn't really done all majorly wrong, but I'd still have Cooper.
Before his terrible first half yesterday, I would have been tempted to stick with Pennington. But now I think I would go back to Janssen and Cooper.
And obviously
despite Cooper's massive idiocy in getting sent off in the first place.
And Size obviously walks back in despite him being a dickhead. He's served his time. Yeah. I think he's
his best player.
Yeah, he needs to come back in, doesn't he? It's wrong what he did. I think everyone agrees, but he walks back into that team.
Yeah, that team they have is ridiculous. But I really want them to fail now because they've done it so many times, and they must be close to facing some sort of punishment for the money they must be paying for that team.
Well, when you look at that, I mean, Curtis Davies must be on big wages. Carson will be on his new deal. Huddleston will be, Bradley Johnson will be, Tom Lawrence will be on big money, Vyman will be,
well.
Nugent will be, Cameron Jerome will be, Vidra will be. So we'll see. But do you think that the formation will change with Size coming back?
I think it's got to. Definitely, it's got to if he's back in the squad.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's too good to leave out.
So what do we reckon? Do we think it'll be back to 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, and part of me don't want it to, because Lasogga, we seem to get more out of him when he had someone up there properly with him, but Size is that good, you need to accommodate him. It's a tough one, isn't it? But yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that I can think of is to just use sort of free roll 2 attacking mids off Lasogga and have Hernandez and Size, and just let them move about and play 3 proper centre mids to cover.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that'd work, and especially with only 2 days to prepare from the last game.
And you're playing 4th in league away from home.
Yeah, it's
tough, isn't it?
Are you saying play the Christmas tree?
Yeah, basically.
It could work. We've got enough centre mids for it.
Yeah, this week me and Connie will actually remember that Adam Forshaw exists.
Yeah, when we got home, all them midfield options we were going through, we've just spent £4.5 million on Adam Forshaw and we haven't mentioned him. Yeah.
I came up with a theory after, because a guy messages on Twitter saying, "Did you two actually forget about Forshaw?"
Yep.
And I just went, yeah. And my theory is that we spent so long talking about the centre mids that were playing shit and were out of form that we forgot about the one that was good.
Yeah, who actually, completed a pass and made a few tackles, yeah.
I could see him being skipper next season.
Yeah.
I will say I wasn't too impressed with O'Kane and Forshaw alongside each other. I know Forshaw can get forward a little bit more, but I did think they played a very similar style to each other, again, at least against Bristol.
Yeah. If someone's coming in alongside Forshaw, do you think it'll be Phillips or Vieira? Because it will be one of them. I can't see it being O'Kane again.
I think given how it looked like he performed when he came on, I won't be too against giving Phillips a go.
I suppose a lot depends on how fit Vieira is.
Yeah.
If Vieira's fully fit, I'd quite like Vieira and Forshaw in a tough game away from home.
Yeah, I suppose what Vieira offers you in middle at park, obviously Phillips makes up for higher up the pitch, and it depends how Heckingbottom's going to approach it, really, doesn't it, between two of them.
There is part of me, though, who thinks it would be quite good for Vieira to maybe have another game out. Just as good as he is, I know he's had a couple of small injury problems and he hasn't spent a whole lot of time off. So, I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if he had another game sitting out. Just give him a bit of a break.
So we're thinking... I know you said you wouldn't bring Berardi back in, right back, but do you think that's what will happen?
I think it will, but I do think, as I say, given a little bit that I've seen, I think it's harsh on Anita, but I think it will.
I'd stick with Anita for it. It kind of depends how much Heckingbottom will have seen of Berardi. Again, like you say, in terms of if we're coming up against a team like that, it might be worth having Berardi at left back as a more defensive-minded option.
Yeah, that is what I'd do. I'd leave Anita in, and I would put De Bock on the bench and play Berardi at left back. But that's not what I think will happen.
No,
I think it'll be Wiedwald, Berardi. I do think Cooper's going to win out. So Janssen, Cooper, De Bock. I think it'll be Forshaw and Vieira.
Right. See, I'd go with Forshaw and Phillips, but yeah.
And then I think it'll be Hernandez left, Size at 10. Dallas right.
I was just going to say, Stuart Dallas deserves to stay, and Ali Oscar keep him on bench.
Dallas didn't have his best game by any stretch, but it's another one, tough game, someone who works up and down.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Dallas and Lasogga up front.
Yeah, and I think having Dallas in there and all, I mean, we've mentioned it for a couple of weeks now. I think giving Alioski 2 or 3 weeks out of squad might just well give him a kick up arse. Hopefully, if it's running, we'll see him kick on a little bit.
Yeah, and it does give him the option. I mean, they'll have Ekiban and Roof on the bench if he wants to switch it up and go to up top. He's got the players there to do it.
Yeah.
But their squad is really strong. We've not been in best form. I'd love to be more optimistic, but I'm going to say we get beat, and I think we get beat 2-1.
I'm going to say that we build on the last half hour or so, that Bristol game. And I'm going to say that we nick a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to say we lose 1-0.
Yeah. It's very different at the start where we're predicting wins every week.
Yep.
And at the start when we were right as well. Yeah. And then Saturday, home to Brentford. They're 10th in league, 47 from 32. We're 11th, so it's pretty tight. Both the keepers have got to be better than they were in the reverse fixture.
God.
Their last 5, they're 1-2-0 at Sunderland, but who doesn't beat Sunderland? Probably us when we play them at home.
And Bristol City.
I was going to say Bristol City.
1-0 with Preston, 3-0 loss at Derby, lost 1-0 at home to Norwich, and a 1-0 win away at Reading. Reading have been really poor. But yeah, they've got Daniel Bentley in goal, who before the last fixture I would have said was a decent keeper. You can't see our floodlights in the same way, so he should be. Their squad.
You're saying we could have had a tactic of just hoofing it 40 yards in the air.
Get Michael Brown back.
Yeah.
Now, their squad is not what it was a couple of years ago.
It's nowhere near, is it? But it's still not bad.
No, it's still bad. I mean, John Egan's decent, Bjelland's decent at back, but he's a bit hit and miss with injuries, isn't he? In midfield, they've got a bit of quality. Josh McEachran.
He hasn't really kicked
on.
He
never kicked on,
he?
But he's got ability. That Ryan Woods was best player on Park when we played in reverse fixture. Nico Yeneris was quite highly rated at Arsenal before we went away.
I quite like Sawyers. Every time I've seen him play.
Lemaine Sawyers?
Yeah. Every time I've seen him play, he always seems to do a job.
Yeah. And then we've got that Joseph Zoom can play on wing, he can run a bit. That Ollie Watkins that they got from, it was Exeter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He looks pretty decent, and Neil Maupay gave us a bit of a hard time last time. They have lost Lasavibe though. Went to China in January.
Missed that one.
Because I can remember we mentioned him on the podcast because I said, he's available for transfer apparently, and he's only got 6 months left in his deal, so it's a cheap deal. But yeah, if he's gone to China, we'll be on 40 grand a week. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's done. I think this is where we break the run of not winning at home since the whole game. I think this is where we do it. And I think we do it comfortably. I'm going to say 3-0.
I'm going to go not quite as comfortable as that. I'm going to say 2-0 to Leeds.
I am going to say a 2-1 win for Leeds. So, the optimism's back.
If we're all confident, then whack your money down. Brentford or draw.
Yep.
Have they got anyone ex-Leeds that they can put a bet on for first goal? I don't think they have.
I'm going to say Douglas is at Ipswich now, isn't he?
Yeah.
But no, I think we're good on that one. I think we're all right.
But yeah, there's. I think this Derby game's going to be a tough game. If we get I have fully given up on playoffs now.
Yeah, it's going to take
I mean, Heckingbottom can keep coming out and saying it's possible, and it is possible.
He needs to say it as well, doesn't he? Let's be honest.
I don't see it happening. So if we could get 4 points out of these two, I'd be absolutely delighted.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
And to be honest, if we got 3, if we get beat at Derby and beat Brentford, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's Leeds, so we'll probably go out and thump Derby and get arseholed by fucking Brentford at Ellen Road. You can just see it coming.
It would be just like us.
Oh yeah.
At this point, I've no real idea what to expect. So if we got 2 points from this, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Because again, like you say, if we're realistically going for the playoffs, it's the fact that we've got to this point now, and we're not even saying these are must-win games. We are just these are just games now. So yeah, I mean, if we came out of these 2 games not losing, I wouldn't be complaining, if I'm honest.
No. I do think we desperately need to win a home game though, so it's getting a bit ridiculous now.
Definitely.
Yeah. But unless anyone's got else, I think that'll do us.
I think we're there.
Right, cool. Well, that'll do us for episode 18 of the Mighty Whites podcast. We're on Twitter at Mighty Whites Pod. The stuff we write goes up on Through It All Together, which is at THRU, it's all LUFC. We will be back some point after the Brentford game, probably not long after. Depending on what everyone's schedule is, we'll sort something closer to the time. But thanks a lot for listening. I've been Jack.
I've been Connie. Cheers.
I've been Casey. See you later.
Thanks a lot for listening. Bye.